You know what, folks? It's been a dark time in the news. And so it's time to do a thing I like. I know we're bringing it back. We're bringing it back better than ever. A thing I like. Books that I've been reading, music I've been listening to, movies I've seen, TV stuff. Fun stuff. So today's thing I like is from my friend David Horowitz. David is an institution in the conservative movement. He runs the David Horowitz Freedom Center. He's written a huge number of books. He has a brand new book out. It's called America Betrayed. It is totally worth the read. In it, he traces the roots of American ideology all the way back to Martin Luther and then forward through the secular assault on American ideology. The book is totally worth your time. You should go pick up a copy of it right now at Amazon. David's books are virtually always worth your time. Again, he's a terrific writer. He's very clear, and he does not pull his punches. That book, again, is David Horowitz's America Betrayed. Alrighty, folks. So there's a documentary that is now on Max. It is called Bad Blood, and it covers the infamous feud between Taylor Swift and super manager Scooter Braun, who also has a holding company that was buying Taylor Swift's company that had her albums, right? So this documentary is about events from June of 2019. That is when Scooter Braun's company, which is called Ithaca Holdings, acquired Big Machine Label Group, which is the record label that Taylor Swift was signed to for the first 13 years of her career. And that acquisition included the rights to her first 6 albums, from her self-titled debut to Reputation, which was released in 2017. So the documentary has 2 episodes. Episode 1 is Taylor's version, which is just her being obnoxious. It is her and all of her friends and allies suggesting that she is a victimized feminist and man, she's just fighting the man. And oh my God, everyone's so mean to Taylor Swift, and Scooter Braun is such a mean man who's super mean. And oh my God, he's so mean. I mean, he did. I mean, like, she's way more famous and rich because of his involvement. But really, she's a victim in all of this. She's a victim. And you see this pretty often in celebrity culture, people who are not victims and make lots of money from particular companies then claiming victimhood. So it's not rare to see Taylor Swift do this sort of thing. But here she is doing that sort of thing. And that's episode 1. And then there's episode 2, in which Scooter Braun's side is told. And that's a side where basically they just explain what happened legally in pretty meticulous detail, where everyone basically recognizes that he bought a company, and along with that company, he bought her records, and then she a lot about it. That's pretty much the whole story. And then, of course, HBO finishes by saying, well, who can tell? Who knows? And they go, but she is a very important cultural and musical. Like, who cares? That's not what the issue isn't whether she's an important cultural figure. She is right now. In 20 years, I really, really, really doubt it. And in 100 years, I know it. As social unrest escalates and crime rates climb, securing the safety of your family is more crucial than ever. In uncertain times, having effective yet non-lethal options is vital. This is why you should check out the Burna less lethal pistol launcher. It's been developed by a team of common sense gun owners who understand the importance of having choices. They engineered the Burna launcher as a powerful tool for self-defense, allowing users to de-escalate life-threatening situations without resorting to deadly force. Now listen, I'm about as pro-Second Amendment as it gets. I own multiple firearms, but I'll be honest, using lethal force, even in defending my home, my family, that's a scary idea, obviously. Now, don't misunderstand me. If somebody invades my home, what happens next is on them. But if I have the ability not to resort to lethal measures in order to do so, that would be great. Not only that, there are situations where you're in your home and someone's banging around in the kitchen and you don't know who it is. What if it's a member of your family who came in? Now, maybe it would be better that, God forbid, instead of making a horrible, horrible life-altering mistake, you can use, something else. Well, Burna is a safer, more sensible alternative that could potentially save lives on both sides, protecting both the user and the aggressor. Visit Burna.com/Ben. Get 10% off your purchase today. That's BYRNA.com/Ben. Check out the latest news about Burna. That's BYRNA. But that's irrelevant to the question at play here. The question is whether she's kind of a bad person. Because it turns out that people who routinely violate their contracts and then claim victimhood, they're not the best people. And that's Taylor Swift all over. And she's used her platform in order to attack Scooter Braun over and over and over. So, for example, she used her platform at awards acceptance speeches to criticize Big Machine and Scooter Braun. At her Grammy acceptance speech, she we talked about this at the time. It was so obnoxious. She got up there and she announced her Tortured Poets Department album, which, if you want to see just a horrifically long and brutal review, I did a review, and the review is about half the length of the album, which is 2 hours. It is like a 2-hour, 10-minute album of the same song over and over and over. As I said about that album, after listening to that album, my only question about the Tortured Poets Department is where do they torture the poets and how do I join? But in any case, the documentary basically shows her being manipulative and weaponizing her fans to attack Scooter Braun, and she won't call them off even after Scooter releases the threats on his family's life. And of course, she has lots of feuds with lots of other people because she's not a particularly nice person. So here's the thing. The general public doesn't tend to understand business deals. They don't tend to understand legal, right? This is why you hire a lawyer, is because if you're not a lawyer, I am a lawyer, but if you're not a lawyer, then you don't understand how legal works. You don't understand what provisions do, that you sign contracts with provisions in case something bad happens. And then when the bad thing happens, the contract governs. But for the general public, like, oh my God, a bad thing happened. Now I have to like de novo figure out who's right and who's wrong. No, you don't. That was the purpose of the contract in the first place. So as it turns out, Taylor Swift's actions, lying to her fans, lying to the public, re-recording all the old songs, re-releasing them. This is all in papering over all of that with this I'm a feminist icon nonsense, which is a great, by the way, great get out of jail free card for being a cheat in business. I am a feminist. This works so well for everyone. Like Elizabeth Holmes, every time she was questioned for years, she's like, because I'm a feminist icon. Meanwhile, she's running a huge con and stealing billions of dollars from people and giving them back false results from their blood tests. People may have died. But as long as you can claim that you're a feminist icon, you get away with nearly anything. So that's Taylor Swift's shtick. And don't worry, she'll continue the shtick as long as people are willing to humor her nonsense. It's a lucrative business pretending to be a 16-year-old victimized feminist while making billions of dollars by violating your contracts. Really, really stellar stuff. So that's the thing that I hate for today. Are you tired of the lies and the twists of the mainstream media talking points? Yeah, me too. Join me in my newest series, Fact, where I dismantle and bring truth to this tiring mainstream agenda.